Question number 16 asks us to solve these simultaneous equations algebraically. And these can look really tricky and really daunting, and there's quite a few steps involved in getting these right, but they're very satisfying when you start getting them right. It's going to require a lot of practice. There's some variations on these themes, but this one we've got y equals x minus 3 and y equals 2x squared plus 8x minus 7. Now that's nice because it means that because both things are equal to y, we can make these two expressions equal to each other. So let's do that to start off with. I'm going to write down x minus 3 equals 2x squared plus 8x minus 7. Okay, first step done. Made them equal to each other because they both equal y. The second thing that we need to do is make the expression or the equation equal to nothing, because that's how you solve an equation, a quadratic equation, and that's what this will form, a quadratic equation. So if we get rid of the x minus 3 on this side, we're going to need to minus an x, and we're going to need to add a 3. So if we do that to the other side of the equation, we're going to end up with 0 on that side, and we're going to get 2x squared, and we're going to minus an x from the 8x, and we're going to get plus 7x, and we're going to add 3 to minus 7 and get minus 4. Now, if you make a mistake at this stage, it's going to throw the whole thing off, and it's going to be a real pain because you'll spend a lot of time going through answering this question, and it's going to end up getting the wrong answers, and you're not going to know necessarily unless you check. So 6 marks could be blown at this stage, so make sure you get this bit right. Okay, you can do it nice and safely, and make sure that this bit is correct. So now we've made it equal to 0, what we need to do is factorize and then solve this quadratic equation. Now the method for doing that, or the method I use for doing that, is multiplying the coefficient of the x squared term, the 2, the number at the front, by the number at the end, which is we refer to as the constant. So I'm going to do 2 multiplied by minus 4, which would be minus 8. I'm going to ignore the fact it's minus for a minute, and I'm just going to write down number 8 and think of the factors of 8. So I've got 1 and 8, and I've got 2 and 4. Now I'm looking at the pair of factors, and I need a pair of factors that add to make the number in front of the x. And I can see that 1 and 8 would make a 7 if I had 8 plus minus 1. 8 plus minus 1 would equal 7. Because these two stuck together would make a minus, so 8 minus 1 would give you 7. And if I had 8 multiplied by minus 1, I would also get the minus 8 that I needed at the end of our expression. So that works. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the 7x term that's in the middle, remembering that I need a minus 1 and a positive 8 here, so I'm going to write that next to these numbers. Right, I don't need to worry about the 2 and the 4, they're nothing to do with this now. It's minus 1 and the 8, and I'm going to put an x next to these numbers because I'm splitting the x term here, so I'm going to get a minus 1x, and I'm going to get a plus 8x. Okay, important to include the symbols there. So I'm going to then section off these two sides. Bring down the 2x squared, section that bit off, and then bring down the minus 4 that was the original in the question. Section that bit off. Now you can see here that I've got two expressions, this expression here and this expression here, that need to be factorized. Now to factorize this, you've got to take out the common factor of the numbers, which is 1, and then you've got to take out the common factor of the letters, which is x. So I'm going to write x on the outside and 2x on the inside, and then to make minus 1x, I'm going to have to put a minus 1 in the brackets. That would multiply out to make this expression, which is why I've written it in this form here. And then I have to factorize this one separately, so the highest common factor I could take out here would be a 4, so take out the factor of 4, and then open up your brackets, and I would get a 2x, and then to make a minus 4 I'd have to put minus 1. Now that works because these two brackets are the same. If I've got the two brackets being the same, I know I've done something right, and that's good. The other bracket is the numbers that are on the outside, or letters that are on the outside. So x and plus 4, because it's a positive 4, is one bracket of our factorised expression. So I'm going to write down x plus 4. And then the other bracket is the one that's the same. So 2x minus 1. And that is this expression, 2x squared plus 7x minus 4, factorised. If we were multiplying this out using our grid, we'd get this. And you could check it if you wanted to, but we're happy that that's correct. So what we then need to do is make each bracket equal to 0. That's what we need to do. Make each bracket equal to 0. So if the whole thing equals nothing, if we cover over this bracket, 2x minus 1, x plus 4 equals nothing. If we were then taking this x away from this side, so minus 4, then x is equal to minus 4. Okay, we've got one of our values. One of our values is x equals minus 4. So I'm going to write that down in my answer space there. The other one would be 2x minus 1 equals nothing. The other bracket, ignore this one now, 2x minus 1 equals nothing. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So if I added 1 there and add 1 there, I'm getting 2x equals 1. And then I'm dividing both sides by 2 to find out what 1x equals. So x equals 1 over 2, a half. So the other value is x equals a half. Now, I can use those x values that I found and substitute them back into the easy expression here. So the first one, to find the y value. So y is equal to minus 4 minus 3. So when x is minus 4, y is minus 4 minus another 3 minus 7. So my y value is minus 7. Make sure these match up. And then y is equal to 0.5 if you want to write it as 0.5 or a half. So 0.5 minus 3, which is y equals minus 2.5. 2.5. And you've got your answers. You can always check to make sure they work if you've got your calculator and substitute the values back into the other equation, and that's a good idea to make sure you've got it right. If you haven't got it right, just double check, make sure, and you can find your mistake and go all the way through again if you've got time, but it's a time-consuming process. You're going to take about 6 minutes to answer one of these questions. I've taken just over 8 to explain it to you as well, so hopefully that's broken it down and have made it as clear as possible for you.